from a well-lit hallway, fully aware of my surroundings, to an earthly hell of fire, choking black smoke, the intense heat, pain, and disorientation. In those first few moments, which seemed to last an eternity, I experienced the pain, both physical and emotional, of dying a ghastly, burning death. I was burned on 60% of my body, legs, back, arms, neck, face, with my arms accounting for approximately 40% of the third-degree burns that covered my body. My arms are completely grafted from fingertip to armpit. My facial areas, including the eye sockets, forehead, neck, my ears are artificial cartilage with my own skin grafted over it, have all been reconstructed, as well as my thumbs. My most life-threatening injury was the inhalation injury that I sustained. My lungs were burned due to the heat and the aerosolized jet fuel in them, because with that amount of heat, my lungs, in fact, were beginning to blister, and the gathering of fluid in my lungs meant that I was actually drowning to death inside the building. I was disoriented and unable to navigate my way out due to the loss of lighting combined with the black smoke. And I cannot put into words the abject panic that captures your heart when you not only experience death in such a horrible manner, but the helplessness of not being able to escape the source of that death. I knew I was facing the finality of my life, and when I crossed the threshold between trying to survive and accepting my death, I screamed, "Jesus, I'm coming to see you." I did not do what we in the military are ever trained to do. I did something that we've never been trained to do. That's surrender, give up, collapse to the floor, and I waited to die. I thought about Mel and Matt that morning and how that would be my last to speak with them. In that moment I gave up. The turmoil, pain, and panic was now filled with the silence and the peace of knowing I would soon be in eternity with Christ. As I lay in the corridor waiting for the Lord to call me home, expecting to hear those words, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," all I got was "well done." It's okay. It's okay. The Lord's got a sense of humor, although it's a little crispy for me, but that's okay. There would be many more tough moments for the Birwell family and for our nation. Inside the emergency room at Georgetown University Hospital, it was like a battle drill. Lots of activity, intensity, voice commands, gravity, but no chaos. Dr. Williams told me that he would soon put me under general anesthesia, and I knew in my heart I would soon be speaking my last words. I therefore asked Dr. Williams, told him that I wanted to do two things. I asked Major John Collison, who had ridden with me to the hospital, to take the wedding ring off my finger and give it to Mel, tell that I loved her. Jewelry is normally cut off of the burn survivor since the body melts long before gold does. But I didn't want the ring destroyed. When the nurse removed it to give it to John, it was like running an overdone hot dog through something of a smaller diameter, except the hot dog was my blackened fingers. Since most of the skin was already gone, when the ring was pulled off, it exposed bone with blood streaming out of the base of my finger where the ring had been. I don't recall it hurting, and I don't think so much because of the morphine shot I was given at the Pentagon, but because I was concentrating on the dignity of what I knew was my imminent death. I then asked for the hospital chaplain, Chaplain Cirillo, to say a final prayer, acknowledging God's sovereignty in my life and accepting His will for me, should I awake or not from the anesthesia. After Chaplain Cirillo led that prayer, I then told Dr. Williams, not with the strength of a soldier, but with the strength of faith in my Savior, let's get on with it, resting in the comfort of Christ's command in my life. Mel would arrive at Georgetown and the staff would guardedly tell her what to expect. I told her that while I was unconscious in ICU, she could only see me for a few moments to keep the area sterile, and that I would not look anything like what I did when I left the house that morning. And no words were truer than when she came in and saw what was her husband. After I was transferred to the Washington Hospital Center Burn Unit, Lieutenant General Peake, the Surgeon General of the Army, would visit in the early morning hours of the 12th and strongly encourage Mel to get our son Matt up to see me. Mel would very wisely process this advice that in fact he was telling her my chances of